Hey, how's it going? Dave 2D here, and this is the Essential phone. And I wanted to thank Telus for partnering with me on this video. They're the exclusive launch carrier for this phone in Canada, so if you're interested in the Essential phone and you live in Canada, you should check out their website. There's a link in the description. So I'm going to start off with a quick unboxing here. We get a slide-out tray inside, and you get the phone itself, a 27-watt charging brick, a braided USB-C cable, and then a braided USB-C headphone jack adapter. You also get a SIM tool shaped like the Essential logo. One of the headlining features of the phone is the build. It's made from titanium and ceramic, and when I first heard that Essential was doing this with their phone, it didn't seem that special. I mean, it sounded cool, but I didn't think that the build materials would make that much of a difference in how the phone feels, but it does. Titanium is a very hard metal. If you look at the tensile strength of some metals, titanium alloys can get way harder than even the best aluminum alloys, so the frame should be pretty resistant to damage. The ceramic slab on the back is also super durable. I thought it was glass at first because it's so shiny, but it's actually polished ceramic, and this surface is very resilient to scratches. I'm not going to call it scratch proof because there's very few things in this world that are actually scratch proof, but my keys can't mark this surface at all, and I think they've done a really good job combining the two materials. It's a very nice device to hold in your hand. In terms of the design, it's a very simple and clean aesthetic. It's comfortable to hold, but because of the ceramic material, it's heavier than you would imagine a phone of this size to weigh. It's not heavy per se, it's just heavier than you might think it would be. The earpiece is pretty much invisible. It's tucked away into this tiny crevice between the screen and the ceramic perimeter. There's a notification LED tucked in there, and the earpiece sounds good. The fingerprint scanner on the back is quick. I can hear the verification sound right away, but sometimes the screen can take a split second to fire up. On the back, there are two contact points, and these are where the wireless accessories can connect. These pins are just for power. Any kind of data transfer is done wirelessly, and there's a 360-degree camera module that looks pretty cool. There's no headphone jack, and even though they give you this USB-C adapter, I still miss a headphone jack, but that's the path. That's the path that the entire phone industry has chosen to take, and we'll have to live with that. Now, in terms of the speaker at the bottom, it sounds pretty good, and it gets loud, but it is a mono speaker, and I really wish they'd gone for a stereo setup. It's just something I really like when it comes to smartphone speakers. Now, if there's one thing I would knock about the design, it would be the back panel. It looks almost too simple to me. There's no branding or design lines, but you can always put skins on the back to give it some texture and some grip. This is a marble one from D brand, and I think it looks nice. All right, let's talk about the screen. This phone caught a lot of people's attention because of the screen. It has very thin bezels, it has rounded corners, but the camera is still positioned at the top, and you have this gap or cutout in the screen where the camera is. And some people may not like it because it looks so different from your regular smartphone, but I think it looks good. Now, if you're wondering why they didn't put the camera at the bottom, if you're taking a picture or using Google Hangouts, this is what the image looks like with the camera at the top. It's a normal image, but then when you put it at the bottom, this is what the image looks like. It's just a bad angle. You can look up your nose. You can still swipe down from the top of the camera and it works the same. You don't have to adjust your swipes because of it. And when you're watching videos, it's just a black bar along the side. The image doesn't have to go up to that part. And when you're browsing the web, using the cameras, playing games, very few apps actually put content up there. You might have a strip of UI buttons or something, but most apps just have a black bar. So functionally right now, this super thin bezel at the top doesn't do anything super useful, but where this thing shines is base level UI. So the lock screen, home screen, and settings and stuff, it just looks so cool to me. And every time I use my phone, it feels like a very futuristic device. The display itself is an IPS panel, Quad HD resolution. The colors are on point, but it's not super bright though. It's a 500 nit screen, excellent for indoor use, but the screen can get hard to see on really bright days. Looking at performance, the components in here are very fast. It's got a Snapdragon 835, Adreno 540 with fast UFS 2.1 storage. All of the technical components in here were obviously picked to give this thing some really good speed. The performance feels like a 2017 flagship phone. One thing I noticed, this phone doesn't get that hot. So even after running a bunch of loops and stuff for benchmarks, it felt cool to the touch. Not like cold, but lukewarm at most. I'm not sure if it's a ceramic material or something, but yeah, it's kind of neat. The camera has two lenses. One is an RGB sensor, the other is a monochrome sensor, and the idea here is that they're taking two photos and then combining the data to produce something that's as clean as possible, and the images are pretty good. Now, to be honest, I thought that the Essential phone wouldn't have an amazing camera because they don't emphasize it that much on their website, but they're good. Photos taken in good lighting are nice, not that these are difficult to capture with a 2017 flagship, but the low light photos are also not bad. Dynamic range could be better in general, but overall, I do like the camera. I'm not into black and white photography, but it has a dedicated monochrome option. I don't love the stock camera app. It's a little too basic. If you're big on photography, you'll probably want a different camera app. The front-facing camera looks good as well, and both cameras, the front and back, shoot video in 4K. Pricing off contract isn't cheap. It's a premium 128GB phone. It starts at $700 in the US and I think $1,050 in Canada. It's on par with any big screen flagship phone. I wish they offered this phone in a cheaper 64GB variant, but $700 for a titanium thin bezeled phone like this feels very normal right now. Battery life on this thing is average to maybe a little bit less than average because of the bigger screen. So normally screens of this size are fueled by bigger batteries, right? But because it's a small phone with a large screen, the battery is only 3040 milliamp hours, so it's not huge. I can comfortably get a full day of heavy use, but not much more than that. It does support quick charge and it takes about an hour and a half for a full charge. It's running Android 7.1.1 and it feels very stock to me, which I love. The two apps that they've included that aren't very stock are their profile migration app, it's called Switchback, I never used it, and their camera app, it's called Click, and I don't love the icon, and like I mentioned before, it's not a very full-featured camera app, but everything else feels like stock Android. As for updates, I can't tell. I mean, every phone company promises an unending stream of super fast updates, but they often don't deliver. As for this phone, because of Andy Rubin's involvement, my gut feeling is that we'll get pretty fast and frequent updates. Essential does promise 2 years of major software updates and then another year of security updates. And even this pre-release phone, this thing did receive the August 5th update on time, so that's probably a good sign. Okay, the essential phone. With this device, you're getting excellent ergonomics and build quality. The titanium and ceramic materials are really nice. Up front, the ultra-thin bezels look really cool. It's not highly functional, but it adds to the super clean aesthetic of the phone. The front-facing and rear cameras are both strong performers, clean images even in low light. The fingerprint scanner is reasonably quick, and the ceramic material on the back gives the phone a very unique feel, but it adds a little bit of weight. Inside, the Snapdragon 835 delivers awesome performance as expected. The storage is also really fast, but the phone only comes in a massive 128GB variant, so you're forced to go pretty big, and the battery will last about a day of heavy use. So the feature list isn't massive. It's missing things like wireless charging, it doesn't have official waterproofing, so if you're trying to like one-up your friends with spec lists on your phone, this is not that phone. There are plenty of other phones for that, but with this thing, you're getting a highly functional device that has all the important specs, but it looks and feels very unique and just straight up awesome. Okay, that about wraps it up. If you guys are interested in this phone, there's a link in the video description. If you're in Canada, check out Telus. They're the exclusive launch partner for this company. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. See you guys next time.